So Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. What a weird season. Mainly it took place during a weird time. So if you don't, for those of you who don't know, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy took place before or after Power Rangers in Space, which took place after Power Rangers Turbo. And Power Rangers Turbo, well, wasn't the best season, especially like performance wise. So when the season had aired and when it around that about a time like halfway maybe, ratings were down, and so they were like, okay, I think we're gonna have to cancel this show. So they were like, we'll make one more season, and that season was Power Rangers in Space, one of the most beloved seasons in the Power Rangers community. And so let's just say Power Rangers was renewed. And so then they created Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. But the problem with that is that in previous years they had done a continuous story. Like one season led into another, led into another, led into another, led into another. But with Power Rangers in Space, since they didn't think they would make more, they made a finale. And so now it's kind of like, what are we gonna do? So they decided that they would take a page out of Super Sentai, and they would change the cast every year, change the suits, and change the Zords. And thus, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy was created. We were introduced to 6 characters: Leo, Kai, Damon, Kendricks, Maya, and Mike. And we also were introduced to Corone. She was a ranger. She became a ranger later on, but we knew her from the previous season. She was astronomer, which brings up the point that this season was kind of connected to In Space because they didn't want to make it too different. They were like, let's not quite make it different. Let's test the waters a little bit, just a little different. And I guess it was a success since Power Rangers has continued on to 2023, and then they stopped for some reason. And now, as I'm recording this, they have canceled the Disney Plus project. But that's a story for another time. Today is about Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And without further ado, let's get on into it. So before we start this video, I would just like to point out it's currently thunderstorming in my area. So if you hear thunder, that is because it's thunderstorming. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know it's not like drums or something. Not that you would probably think that. But let's just start the video. So most of us have probably watched Power Rangers in Space. And if you haven't, click off this video right now and go watch it. I'm not even kidding. Click off this video, go watch it. Do it now. But for those of you who have seen it, you'll know how great of a season it was. And you'll know, some of us will know, that that was actually originally intended to be the end of Power Rangers. It's kind of like the time we're in now. Like they were gonna end the show because the ratings for Turbo were so bad that they were not gonna be able to sustain a show. So they were like, okay, we can make one more season. Let's go all out. And they went all out, guys. Like, I'm not kidding. It was one of the best seasons in Power Rangers ever. And so they were like, okay, sweet people, we are back. Let's create a new season. And they're like, but wait, we just ended the show. And they're like, that's okay. Now we're going to take a page out of Sentai's book and we're going to create an original story for every season. But they didn't really do that. Like, Lost Galaxy is a little bit connected to In Space. So, but anyway, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy was a little different. For example, most of it didn't take place on Earth. First episode, and that was it. No more Earth. For the rest of the season, it looks like it's on Earth, but that's because it's just on Terra Venture, which is used for that way they can use Sentai footage. But, um, you know, still not Earth. There are a few other differences. For example, first season without Zordon at all, mainly because he was killed off in the previous season. Um, it doesn't have a connected story to the previous season, although some people count Lost Galaxy as connected, a part of the Zordon era, because it is still somewhat connected. Like it has the Astro Mega ship, it has Alpha 6, yes, Alpha 6. It has the In Space Rangers come back, but that's just the yearly crossover they used to do. Another difference is that it didn't have anyone related to the United Alliance of Evil. It was their own separate organization. Now, most of the time, like up until Power Rangers Turbo, really, till the end of it, we didn't really know there was a United Alliance of Evil. We thought, it was Mighty Morphin season 1, 2, and 3 had Rita and Zed. Then there was the Machine Empire, then there was Divatox. But then at the end, they kind of introduced the United Alliance of Evil, but then it really goes more in depth in Power Rangers in Space, which was shown that actually the previous 6 seasons have been all connected. It's all been connected, all the villains. They have been plotting to destroy the Rangers and take over Earth. But this season was different because actually at the end of Power Rangers in Space, there was the Z Wave, which wiped out all villains in the universe except for most of them. So instead of the United Alliance of Evil, we got Scorpius, Trakina, Deviant, Furio, Villamax, Trecheron, and Kegler. Although some of them, most of them actually, are not introduced in the first episode, some of them are later on. I think Furio is the only one in the, first 2 episodes because it's 2 parts. Although they do also later have the Psycho Rangers on their team, kind of, for 2 episodes. Well, I guess 1 episode, and then Psycho Pink for 2, and then she quits. But I don't really consider that. It's kind of like just they brought back villains from the previous season. They would also fight Captain Mutiny and his crew, which was really just an excuse to use the Gingaman footage, because that was the main villain in Gingaman. But the Galaxy Rangers would use the Quasar Sabers to fight all of these villains. And not much is really known about the Quasar Sabers. We know it gives them their powers. They were placed in a stone 3,000 years ago, and they might be related to the Galacticus. But that's really all we know. So today we're gonna go in depth in, like, the history of them and a theory of mine about where they came from. So let's start with the history. Their first appearance was, shocker, in the first episode of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, that being Quasar Quest. The episode opens on Miranoi, with Jera, the village leader, explaining the legend of the Quasar Sabers, how ancient warriors placed them in a stone 3,000 years ago. Suddenly, Stingwingers appear and capture the villagers. Then their leader, Furio, arrives and tries to free the Quasar Sabers, but he's unsuccessful. And then we go to Earth. I think specifically Angel Grove. I don't know if it's ever mentioned, but it can be presumed it's Angel Grove. We see someone getting kicked out of what looks like an airport. He seems upset. However, he sees a woman getting robbed. He saves the woman and gives her her ticket back. She says that Terra Venture needs good people like him. Inspired, he sneaks aboard a shuttle. It takes him to a larger spaceship. We see a few soldiers. They bump into the man, Leo, as he is fleeing the guards. Leo then disguises himself and joins the soldiers. They go to a different space shuttle, being debriefed by a captain. They arrive at the moon, where they begin a training exercise. Leo gets caught up in this, even saving the soldier from before. Her friends arrive and they reveal themselves: Kai, Kendricks, and Mike. Kai recognizes him before, but Mike recognizes him by name. The others are confused, but Mike says he's his little brother. They are shocked by this, but before they can react, a girl stumbles through a portal, having escaped Miranoi. She's being chased by Stingwingers. However, the soldiers help her, and the Stingwingers escape through the portal. The girl introduces herself as Maya and tells them what happened on her planet. The group wants to help, but Kai doesn't want to go against orders. Mike and Kendricks leave with the girl, with Mike telling Kai to take care of Leo. They begin to walk off, but as they enter the portal, Leo runs back and goes through the portal as well. And that's where part 1 ends. But part 2 picks up with Kai heading back, feeling guilty that he left the others. He decides to take the decommissioned Astro Megaship. He gets help from the engineer so he doesn't crash it. They locate a wormhole and go through it. Meanwhile, the others made it to Miranoi. They begin to fight the monsters, but they are no match. However, Kai and the engineer Damon arrive. They begin to fight, and desperate, Mike grabs a nearby blade and defends himself. Turns out, he grabbed the Quasar Saber. This prompts the others to grab one each, except Leo. They all pull them out. Furio is upset that he cannot have them, and casts a spell to turn the village to stone. Everyone begins running, but the Rangers go after Furio. He creates a crack in the ground, causing Mike to fall in. Leo catches him, however Mike says he has to take the saber, and Mike falls. Leo is furious, and he and the others raise the sabers to the sky, and they become the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. They fight Furio and the Stingwingers, but they still can't beat them all, so they retreat to the megaship. They head home, with Maya telling them how they were chosen to become Power Rangers. Leo promises that he will avenge Mike, and the episode ends. Now, while we got a few things from this episode, we didn't get how the Quasar Sabers got there. I mean, we got they were placed in a rock by soldiers, but who created them? And where did they come from? Like, where did the soldiers get them? Or warriors or whatever. However, sprinkled little sprinkles throughout the season indicate where they came from. For example, the Galactabeasts. Each ranger has one Galactabeast, and they're even themed after the same animals and the little circular thing on their blade. There's also the trans daggers having the same color scheme, and even each of them being a different weapon for each ranger. We also see that powers can be passed on, showing when Kendrix dies that Corone becomes the next Pink Boss Galaxy Ranger. We also see that the Rangers can actually put the swords back into the rock where they found them, showing that when their mission is complete, when they don't need them anymore, they can put them back. This all points to me that there was previous Rangers that held the powers from, the Quasar Sabers. And I think they might even be from Miranoi. Originally, all five were from Miranoi. Maybe they even, established it. They found a planet that could hold the Quasar Sabers, and they were like, let's create a civilization here. We also learn a little from the Magna Defender, who seems familiar with the Galaxy Rangers, having not met them before, at least in the show. He's even familiar with the Lights of Orion. And then during the show, we also learned that there was a battle years ago that involved the Galactabeasts, so maybe it involved the original Rangers as well, and even three of the Galactabeasts were killed, I think is the right word. I don't think destroyed is the right word, but killed, or at least they sacrificed themselves. So all this information, I think, points to there being Galaxy Rangers before, but is there any hard evidence? There is not. The show never explicitly states that they are the second generation Galaxy Rangers. But Maya does say that warriors placed them in the stone. So, they may not have been Power Rangers, but people used the swords before them. And I think they were because the Rangers don't create the transmorphers. They just kind of go on the wrist after they morph, so they can access the powers again instead of raising the sword to the sky every time. But I think that's it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I really enjoy making these videos. It combines my two favorite types of videos, episode recaps, and then fan theories. This is just the best of both worlds, and you guys seem to enjoy them. These get a good many views every time I make one. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Again, if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so that way I know you guys did enjoy this video. And if you made it this far, leave a comment. Do you think that the Galaxy Rangers were the second generation? Do you think they were the first, and that the Warriors just created them and then placed them in the stone to be given to someone worthy? But that's going to be it for today, and I shall see you guys next time. Goodbye.